now to, well, today's the birthday of Cesar Chavez, the legendary labor activist, civil rights leader, and founder of the first successful farm workers union. He would have been 81 years old today. Events are planned across the country to honor his life and legacy. Thousands marched in his memory over the weekend. 9 states, including Arizona, California, Colorado, Illinois, Michigan, New Mexico, Texas, Utah, and Wisconsin, recognize March 31st as an official holiday. The man who led the nationwide nonviolent struggle for the rights and dignity of farm workers was born in Yuma, Arizona in 1927. His family became migrant farm workers after the Great Depression. He began his life as a community organizer in 1952 with the Community Service Organization, a Latino civil rights group. 10 years later, he founded the National Farm Workers Association, which would later become the United Farm Workers of America, led the union for the next 3 decades, and the strikes and boycotts he organized helped realize several important victories, including the 1975 California Agricultural Labor Relations Act to protect farm workers. This year also marks the 40th anniversary of Chavez's 25-day water-only fast in California at the height of the 5-year grape strike and boycott. It ended March 1968, just a few weeks before the assassination of one of Chavez's heroes, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Cesar Chavez was fasting to recommit the farm workers movement to nonviolence. Just a clip of Cesar Chavez.
Hispanics, urban and rural, young and old, are connected to the farm workers' experience. We had all lived through the fields, or our parents had. We shared that common humiliation. How could we progress as a people, even if we lived in the cities, while the farm workers, men and women of our color, were condemned to a life without pride? How could we progress as a people while the farm workers, who symbolize our history in this land, were denied self-respect? How could our people believe that their children could become lawyers and doctors and judges and business people while this shame, this injustice was permitted to continue? Those who attack our union often say it's not really a union. It's something else, a social movement, a civil rights movement. It's something dangerous. They're half right. The United Farm Workers is first and foremost a union like any other, a union that either produces for its members on the bread and butter issues or doesn't survive. But the UFW has always been something more than a union, although it's never been dangerous if you believe in the Bill of Rights. The UFW was the beginning. We attacked that historical source of shame and infamy that our people in this country lived with. We attacked that injustice not by complaining, not by seeking handouts, not by becoming soldiers in the war on poverty. We organized.
I'm joined now in Chicago by activist, co-founder of the United Farm Workers, longtime comrade of Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Dolores.
Hi, how you doing, Amy?
It's good to have you with us. As you listen to Cesar Chavez, your thoughts?
Well, we know that we still have a long way to go, that even though in California we were able to bring toilets into the fields and cold drinking water, rest periods, the right to organize, unemployment insurance, we know that in most of the United States of America, our farm workers still do not have some of those basic social labor rights that other workers have. And so, but I really do believe at this point in time, it will be almost impossible to get those benefits on a state-by-state basis. I think we're going to have to wait till we get a new president, hopefully Hillary Clinton, so that we can start, making some of those, getting some of those laws on a national basis, like workers' compensation, where workers get injured in the field, somebody will pay the disability for them, somebody will pay their doctor bill for them, and then, of course, the right to organize, which farm workers, of course, were left out of the national law back in 1935.
Talk about the greatest obstacles to forming the union, to organizing back when, you founded it with Cesar Chavez.
Well, it's always been the racism of the employers and the fact that they do not see the workers, as Cesar said in his talk to the Commonwealth Club, they do not see them as people. And as long as they don't see them as people, and they don't really feel that they have to have those rights. But we can also say that in this administration, that all of the labor unions have suffered tremendously, and it's been extremely hard for labor unions to be able to organize under the current Bush administration. And of course, when we think about other workers, when we think of farm workers, it's even harder. And now, of course, with all of these anti-immigration hysteria, when so many people have been deported, so we have a situation now, for instance, in both California and Arizona, for the first time since 1986, when we passed the amnesty bill, we now have these Bracetta program, this foreign worker programs, where workers are being brought into work without having the right to residency or the right to citizenship. This has happened just recently because so many deportations have taken place, where so many farm workers and other workers have been deported.